It's an exciting day here at Fifth House Ensemble. We are getting ready to perform at the Apple Store tonight in Lincoln Park, which should be a lot of fun. We're exploring music that has electronics along with it. So we have a piece called Lipstick for solo flute and tape by Jacob TV. We also have a piece by Rusty Banks for toy piano and 4 iPhones, believe it or not. And we have a piece by Jason Charney, and the composer himself is going to be joining us. He's a young man that we met at New Music on the Point last summer, and Adam and I were totally blown away by his piece called Compass, where he uses the technology within the iPhone to control sound. So he's basically using his body motions to create the piece for us live. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're really looking forward to it. We planned this concert quite a long time ago, and it just so happens that it's, just about a week after Steve Jobs passed away. So we're really happy to be able to share some art in a space that he created. So it's a really great way for us to pay tribute to someone whose products we use in our work all the time. So in honor of that, I thought I would share one of the really fun new toys that we have brought into our Fifth House work lately, and that is the iPad. So we've all had iPads for a little while for pleasure, for work, and all of that good stuff. But I will say that Eric brought it into our rehearsals and our performances as a performance tool. And one thing that he brought in was the AirTurn. This is a product that allows you to put in 2 pedals to control page turns on the iPad. So basically you can turn it into a music reader, which is fabulous. The things that this is really good for if you are a gigging musician is that you don't have to carry around with you all of the million piles of books that you normally would. For us as people who play weddings sometimes, you can set everything up in advance and not have to carry around a binder. For Fifth House, because we do a lot of educational work, a lot of times involving sections from different pieces and a lot of coordination, to be able to set that up in advance and not worry about turning pages or getting lost, that's a fabulous thing. So what you would need in order to read music on the iPad, what we use is FourScore, which is an app. I think it's probably $5 on the App Store. And it basically allows you to do a lot of different things. If we can get sort of a close-up of the screen here. What you're looking at here is a score of Jacob TV's Lipstick, which I am performing later today. And basically the iPad will let you read the score, fine, and of course you will have scanned it in as a PDF. But if you go into it, you can do a lot of fun things, like if you hit annotate, you can draw all over it, make your markings in red or whatever color you want. You can also, if you happen to do something like I just did, erase them this way. And you can also type, so if you wanted to put in, some words or whatever it is, or put in stamps like sharps and other things like that. There are a lot of different options there for marking up your music, which is great. And the thing that's interesting about it is that the PDF that you scan in stays the way it is, so these things aren't permanent, but you can export a copy that has all of your markings on top of it, which is cool. There are other features to this, many of which I haven't even explored yet, but there's a metronome function here. There's a tuner function, which you can go down here and find as well. Pitch, so it will do that for you. You can, if you have, let's say, a performance that has multiple different pieces in it, you can set up collections. So last summer I went to the Peninsula Music Festival and I set up a collection for that, and all of my scores were there. You can also set up bookmarks. If you know that you have to go to a specific place in the music, you can do that. And one thing that I found to be helpful was to have one of these, a little stylus. It basically has a little tip here that lets you simulate a finger, and it lets you kind of just make your marks and look a little bit less the handwriting of the 2-year-old that you would if you were using the tip of your finger. So that's just a preference thing, but I like it. But getting back to the AirTurn here, so this is called the AirTurn BT105. Basically you purchase this little unit here, and then you can also use either guitar pedals or the AirTurn silent foot switches that you can purchase in a bundle. And what this lets you do, if you put in one of them on the right side, it'll turn the pages forward for you. And you can also decide whether you want the transition to look like a flipped page or just to be plain like this. And I have to say I prefer plain because anytime I see the page flip, there's just a little bit of a delay and my eye freaks out a little bit, but I suppose that's personal preference. So if you have one, it'll always go forward. If you have two, you can set up one to go forward and one to go back. So you basically just put that at your feet and you can control your page turns that way, which is exciting because nothing's going to fall off your stand and everything's going to work the way you want it to. The one thing that took a little adjusting for me was the idea that when you're turning pages in a spot that you normally wouldn't turn a page, you have to make sure that you know what's coming next. And I know pianists are very used to this concept, but myself as a flute player, I'm kind of used to people setting up my page turns for me and not having to worry about that. So that's definitely a little bit of a learning curve. And then the other big advantage to this is that if you happen to do a lot of productions that involve multimedia or theatrical lighting like we do, you don't need a stand light. And that's huge. There's so many pieces that we've played that are gigantically long and we would have had to do huge boards in order to be able to perform well, and those don't work so well with stand lights, so this has been a great solution. So if this works for you, hope you're able to use the tool. You can find FourScore on the App Store, and you can also find AirTurn, I believe, at airturn.com. So enjoy that, and looking forward to seeing you at the Apple Store tonight.